everybody. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast. We're making our way through the NASCAR Pinty Series grid for 2021. We finally get, we get the other half of Ware Racing. We got Andrew a couple weeks ago, and he won. So I think it's about time that we had Alex Guenette on the show. Alex is here, drives a 52 Moto Limite Dodge for Ware Racing in conjunction with DJ Kennington. Alex, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks to you guys for having me.
Well, we obviously want to tout the good luck that drivers have had since coming on the podcast. It's been a bit of a surprise, but I was talking to Graydon before we started here, and one of the things that was really interesting was it's your first kind of full season back for a couple of years, and the consistency that you've had this year has been really quite remarkable for being away for so long. Do you have a reason as to why it is? Is it the cars? Is it the confidence? Is it just that you're a good driver?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had like in my past, I've never ran I've run the Pinties once before the whole deal. And now was the second time that I really full time in a championship. So I've always had to get used to a track or a car quick because I'd run one-offs here and there everywhere. So it's kind of been I'm kind of used to getting used to the track and car quick, you know. So yeah, no, it's been good. We've had some consistent results. We're not exactly where we want to be right now with the car, but we actually tested this past week, and I think we found a few things on the car that should help us for the triple header in Delaware.
Yeah, that's going to be a grind. 3 races in a row at Delaware, but you're sitting P7, but tied with Kevin Lacroix for P6 in points. You're right there, and it's a real scrum in where you guys are in the points that you can make up positions. If somebody has a bad day, you can capitalize pretty well, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're I think it's me, Kevin, and 2 other drivers there. I'm not sure exactly the 2 other, but we're 1 point, like P4 is only like 1 point away. So we're 4 guys really, really tied there. So it's all going to depend on Delaware, you know, if It'll be interesting, you know, especially for us, those 4 guys. It's going to be results are going to matter a lot because we could easily finish 4th or 3rd or 8th pretty easily there.
It's going to make for some good entertainment, that's for sure. Because man, you guys are going to be digging that all 3 of those races.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, the Friday race, I think you know, everybody's going to be probably, you know, getting their car. To final, figuring some stuff out on their cars and being safe. But I think the Sunday races, people are going to have an idea of where they're at and what they got to do, you know, to end up where they won in the championship. So that Sunday evening races should be fun.
Yeah,
they definitely will. And one of the things that we really like about this series, and I think this season has been more evident than ever, is the competition level has been amazing. We've had 1 repeat winner all season long, and it was in the first 2 events. You have a lot of competition from your home province of Quebec in this series. I have to ask, because there is so much competition, but is there somebody that you look up to, because there's so many of them that are in this series, but is there one in particular that you gravitate to from Quebec that you look to maybe for advice?
I mean, it's not so much like one person in particular, just more parts of each guy. See, certain guys do certain things a certain way. Yeah. You know, so it's just a bit of I like LP is real good with like the championship mentality. So, you know, him, like that part, I feel like I relate most with LP. Like our style is, you know, I'm always thinking about, you know, long term, and like the decision making I make is often for the long term, you know, in the championship and in the one. So I think for that part, probably look up to LP on that decision making part, which I think I'm pretty similar to him in that regards, our driving styles. And then you know, each guy has their own sort of thing that I look up to. You know, tag with all his marketing stuff. He's just unbelievable with all that stuff. And he's an awesome race car driver. Of course, a lot of stuff to learn from him. And Andrew, I really got to know real good, in the past this year. I mean, we've always known each other, respected each other. We talked, especially like that year I ran the whole deal. We had some really close calls on the road course, especially at ICAR there. We had a good run. So we've always like talked, but nothing like this year. I really got to know Andrew a lot more, and we get along really, really good. He snowmobiles, same type of snowmobiling I do. We do like mountain and off-road stuff. And so we get along really, really good, me and Andrew. And DJ also learned a bunch with being around him this year. I've always got a good relationship with Andrew, with DJ, but I just got to know him a lot more this year. So no one in particular that I like. I sort of just a bit of every guy. Kevin's got he's he does a lot of good stuff too. He's got a couple of stuff to learn from him. Being he's real good with a couple of things that I like, and a bunch of different guys. We do a bunch of different stuff that I look up to.
I think that's a good, like, as you said, you're taking bits of information that helps your game, if you will. That's what makes you so adaptable, as you've said. Like you've run so many different race cars, but you're also, as you talk snowmobiles and off-road and that sort of thing, you have the concept of speed and balance in some cases and stuff, like just what it takes to make a vehicle go fast. You're only in your mid-20s. You're not an old guy, but you've been doing this for a long time. So when did you first get on something or in something?
Yeah, like you said, that's.
Could you walk yet, or did they let you ride something?
Straight on a dirt bike? Yeah,
yeah.
I think I think growing up, being on a different kind of vehicle really helped. The talent grow. It's just like I'm pretty decent on a dirt bike. I'm decent. Like I got a lot of experience in a lot of different things with engines, thanks to my family. My dad, my parents own a power sport dealership, and I've always been on dirt bikes, snowmobiling, doing jumps, doing wheelies, doing and then all the karting. I got tons of experience in the karting. So for the road course stuff, that really helped. And the first thing I got onto was probably it was a dirt bike when I was like 4 or 5 with those 2 little wheels there on the side. Yeah. And I got on those, and then I started dirt bike racing for 2 years. My dad was always like made his career on racing on 2 wheels, but it's tough out there. To make it on a motorcycle is even tougher than making it on 4 wheels. And it's the risk factor also is very different. My father, he wasn't known for wrecking a lot compared to his other peers, but he's banged up. He's got screws in his bones. He's he's had it good, but he's had people that had it way worse than him. A lot of his friends, or some of them, even passed and stuff like that. So he didn't necessarily want me to go that route. So we went karting instead of dirt bike racing when I was about 8, and then did that for a while, and then hopped into stock car stuff. About at 16, 17 years old, I hopped into stock car stuff. So that was cool.
Well, nice. We've kind of got that in common in a way. So my dad was a firefighter for 30 years, and I always kind of wondered if he'd be okay when he was at work. Well, this is a little bit different, where if you're actually watching, your dad compete, or as a son of a competitor in a dirt bike race, because I watched those MotoGP races, and I can't stand watching because I'm always afraid that somebody's going to topple over and really, those guys go flying, right, when they have an accident. Yeah. So what was that experience like as a kid, seeing like your dad race in those type of situations? Like, I would imagine be a little bit terrifying, or did you have the feeling of, no, I want to do that?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, his career, like when I was really, really young, when he was still racing superbike stuff. So I don't have that many memories, but he raced like a bit of Grand Am stuff, and more like he raced late models also a little bit. And so I seen him more. The memories I have is more, on either on a stock car or like a road course car, the Grand Am touring style car. So I wasn't too worried about it, Yeah, I wasn't too worried about it. I got confidence in him, so it was always good.
That's great to hear. I mean, Grand Am, first off, sports car, right? So it seems again that we have a common theme with a lot of people within the Pinty series is that there's a lot of background in sports cars. Now, where do you find your road course racing is compared to your oval track racing? Do you feel that they're on the same level, or is there one that you think you need to improve on?
Yeah, I mean, the guys have gotten so good. Like the guys always been good on road courses, but I feel like the program now has just gone to another level compared to when I was racing back in 2013 or 14. I feel like everybody stepped up their game, like not just the driving wise. Obviously, they've always been good, but the especially in the Pinty series, having so many road courses, even oval guys are road course guys now. They've just had so much experience on it, and so I feel for me I feel like I want to say I'm better on a road course because I've always like performed better than way better than stock car guys on road courses. But in the Pinty series, it's so competitive, and these guys have been doing it for so long that it's tough on both. But it's I like both. I think I really like oval racing. It's especially this year I realized it. I've always loved the road course, loved the oval, but I was thinking about it recently. Actually, I kind of was sort of trademark a road course racer because of all the karting experience I had. I ran the truck race there at CTMP in 2014 or something like that.
Beautiful sport check truck.
Yeah,
Love that truck.
Yeah, and I mean, I was flying. The equipment was Mario Gosselin works really hard on his cars, but it wasn't. It was by no means a top just budget wise. Not because he's not able. It's just the budget. It was not a top car, but we ended up fourth fastest in practice, and then we were running eighth at the end there, the race before the Motor Blue. So I was kind of trademarked a road course racer because of all the karting experience I had. But then again, I've got awesome results on the oval stuff, and I really enjoy oval as much as I like the road courses. So it's I'd say it's 50-50. I thought it probably if you would have asked me a few years back, it probably would have said road course. I like road courses a bit more. I think I'm a bit better on road courses, but especially in the Pinty series now, the guys have gotten so much experience on road course racing that I'd say it's probably even.
Man, you showed you definitely can hold your own on it. I mean, as you said, when you first heard your name, I would think road course guy, but man, watching you on these ovals this year, you're right in the mix with all these guys. As you said, like LP and the quad, like those guys are pretty badass on the ovals. You've also been, you've gotten your feet wet down in the United States too. Mentioning Mario Gosselin, what was that like in your ARCA experience and trucks and Xfinity?
Yeah, I mean, Mario's taught me a lot. I raced the first real racing I did with him was really like super late model stuff and mostly pro late model actually. But Mario taught me a certain, he's probably one of my favorite guys to work with. We get along really, really good, and he taught me a lot about oval racing. And the way I drive is similar to the way we were just talking about it recently with DJ because we were figuring some stuff out on the car to adapt it to my driving style. And, I talk with Mario also, and it's similar to the way he taught me to race like those cars is like, it hasn't changed. I've been doing the same kind of philosophy of oval racing, if you want, the way I attack an oval
what
race.
you like.
So, yeah. And so, yeah.
There's a nice clue here to my next question that Graydon has on his shirt. We have a really good relationship with the Ontario Sportsman Series team, Herniak Hall Motorsports, and they had we got to chat with them at Flamborough, and Mike and Mark are some of our favorite people in racing. And Mike Jr.
Mike and Mark, yeah,
all of them in there, and they had nothing but great things to say about you and your experience. Yeah. But let's talk about getting to run in the Ontario Sportsman Series at Flamborough.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Such a great bunch of people, man. Honestly, I had a ton of fun with like everyone around their family. I'm not too sure about all the names exactly, but I think the whole family, the friends were there. Everybody was there. And me and my parents were talking about it after the race. You know, what a great bunch of people. So much fun to work with. Everybody was so nice. You know, I got along really good with everyone. Hopefully this weekend they'll be in Delaware. I'm going to hang out with them for sure. Had a blast. And the car was great. We had a great run. You know, if it wasn't for a green flag run for the whole 50 lapper, I probably would have won that race. But I was real happy, you know, turned a few practice laps and then just hopped in the race, green flag, ended up P2. It was a good time, and everybody was so nice and helpful, and it was a really good time.
Did you find that series, obviously the cars are very similar, they're old NASCAR, old Pinty's cars. Did that extra track time help? I know it kind of, your start at Flamborough didn't really go that great. We saw it right away and we were pretty bummed, but did it help getting that extra seat time? Yeah,
for sure. I think it did. You know, it just has a lot less like horsepower, but it's fairly similar cars. And I think the big difference was the next morning. Well, as soon as I hopped in the track, I was real confident. The car just at Flamborough or Pinty's car was just really not where we needed it to be. I was really I think something that helped running the race before is I knew where the car should have been and it wasn't. So we made a few changes. I think it would have been way better for the second run if it hadn't got rained out that second race. I think we would have got way better because the car just really wasn't where we wanted it to be. But I think it really helped, you know, just especially hopping in practice, knowing, you know, having a feel for the track right away, especially with the short practice time. You know, you don't really have the time to get a feel for the track and the car. So I think it just really helped me knowing, you know, what the car needed to do right away in practice since I already knew the track.
I think for that reason, as you just said, because I know we were all talking about it in the stands. It's a shame that second race didn't happen because the first one was intense and pretty awesome as it was, that the second one probably would have been a barn burner. I hope that it stays on the Pinty schedule for 2022 because I'd love to see the doubleheader concept go there again. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure, man. I was just thinking about that this week. You know, I think it just makes a lot of sense for the double headers. It's great for the fans splitting those races, you know, sometimes doing 2 125 lap races instead of 1 250. You know, for the teams, for the budget, it's awesome. And for the fans, it's even better. You know, you get to see 2 races in one night. So it's action packed the whole way. I really enjoy the doubleheader weekend, and I hope they'll. And it makes you know, it's 2 races, but you got to be sort of you have to be careful on the first one. So it makes guys, you know, think differently. Sometimes really aggressive guys sort of have to calm down, and then they could get real aggressive in the second one. So I really hope they'll keep the doubleheader weekend format going.
You summed it up perfectly. That's my opinion too. I think in a otherwise short race, I mean, you may have a pit stop or something in a 250 lap or changing tires or whatever, but it's a whole element of strategy with the doubleheader race that otherwise wouldn't exist. Get all you can, but be cautiously aggressive, I guess is the right way to describe it for the first race. And then it builds the tension to all of us in the stands watching you guys get all you can, but sort of tiptoe it. And then that second race, I know would have been awesome, but we're going to see this triple header at Delaware and it's going to be something awesome, I'm sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we can definitely say that you kind of had to overcome was that adversity right off the start at Flamborough, and you guys kept battling, but it was crazy because we've talked about this. We haven't seen a year like this in a long time where the car counts have been great, but the atrocity in terms of the amount of mechanical failures, the amount of just flat tires that even at Flamborough. So
just freak things
that we wouldn't typically see. And it seems like it's pretty much avoided you this year because DJ and Andrew have both had like mechanical problems in multiple races, and it just seems to have decided that you're okay. you
touch some wood right now.
Yeah.
Knock on my head.
But we head to now a triple header. As you said, this is the end of the season, so people are going to be gunning for wins. You obviously got two teammates that potentially ahead of you in the championship. You got yourself there. I know you want to win. How crazy are you expecting things to be on the Sunday races?
Yeah, I think it'll depend on the Friday race, seeing like where the guys are going to calculate points and see where they're at and figure out who they need to beat. And I think it'll get pretty crazy, like you said, on the Sunday race. But I'm looking forward to it. We went tested for the first time this season. The season's been pretty packed, and we haven't had the time to go test it, unfortunately. And it was a last minute deal, so figuring out stuff before the season was kind of not a possibility since it was so late put together. So we went tested for the first time, DJ at Delaware. So we figured out some good stuff on the car. I really think like the program hasn't been where we want it to be, and I think it will. I think it will have a really good run at Delaware, and I really like the track. That sizing of a track to me, Delaware is a real nice oval. That's an oval track that I really like. Good size. You got pretty good turns, banked, good straightaways. It's really bumpy though. Like I was surprised the first few laps on it. I raced there once, but it was like so long ago. I don't really recall it so much, but it was a real bumpy ride, but I really enjoyed the track. It's really my kind of track.
Do the bumps affect where you're going to run? Like people are going to be gunning for the smooth spots, right? Not necessarily that's the traditional fast way around, but that's going to make for some pretty crazy racing, I would think, right? Yeah,
for sure. The track's real bumpy, it's going to upset some cars sometimes, especially when two guys are fighting. And one guy's on the outside or the inside, and he's not hitting his marks where he usually is. So he's it'll make for some good racing for sure. I think they're talking about repaving it next year, so that should be fun also. Yeah.
Interesting to hear. Alex, we want to take the time to thank you for coming on the podcast with us and allow you to shout out your sponsors, because they're the ones that get you to the racetrack every week, and anybody that helps you get to put on a show for all of us fans.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, I'd like to thank Moto Limité, DLGL, Ducati Montreal, Rick Ware Racing, my whole team behind me. I'd like to thank Rick, but also DJ Kennington and the whole team, and the Rick Ware Racing guys. Also, everyone that's been putting this together, and you guys for having me on also, and just all the fans that come out every weekend, and everybody who tunes in. It's really awesome.
Well, it felt a little bit strange not going to a race this weekend because we've been on a pretty good tear lately, but we'll see you this weekend. And my boys, thank you. And I thank you for coming on with us, bud. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And maybe we'll get a sticker on the car here for some good luck.
There we go. That's how we want to end it. Thank you so much, Alex Guenette. We'll catch you all real soon on the next episode of Stickers and Scuffs.